Hello everyone, it's your girl Riku Keyblade Master back once again, and I want to wish you all a happy July 4th. Happy Independence Day. In other words though, I am a little worried. I've noticed that there have been a lot of ambulances around my neighborhood due to probably most likely due to reckless behavior. So I urge you all to please be careful, and if you see someone doing anything reckless, try your best to stop them or just avoid them altogether, depending on the stunt they're pulling. However, it saddens me to report that we might have a problem. This might be the last Independence Day, considering what the Supreme Court justices have done and the fact that they show no signs of slowing down still. I mean, sure, the new one, Ketanji Brown Jackson, she gets to participate in the next one, but I doubt she can persuade people to change their mind due to the fact that, like, take me for example. Like I was telling my parents, I would be a great person to add to the Supreme Court because I'm in between both ways. So I'm like a wild card because I don't lean just between one way. In other words, I see some things that should stay the same and some things that should change. So I'm in between liberal and conservative. And that's why even my grandma thinks I'd be a very good addition due to that factor. And there are many of us who would be a great addition as well, considering that a lot of us in this group are wild cards as well. So that would be some major help for them. I doubt they've ever had a justice who was a wild card. So if I made it in, I'd be the first one, which would be extremely helpful, like I've said. But yes, it saddens me to report that this may be our last Independence Day. Might or might not. It all depends on what happens. I have a funny feeling that instead of a democracy, we're leading towards a dictatorship all over again. Oh yeah, this is not the first time that the United States has ran into a dictatorship. Possibility. And by that, I mean when the first deal for president started out, whoever got elected in ended up being the president essentially for life, and there have been some good ones, but in terms of dictatorships, I'm talking about the bad ones that leaned towards some very harsh criticisms. And believe me, you know that old phrase where it said history is doomed to repeat itself? Or those who fail history are bound to repeat it? Yeah, believe me. That is definitely what is most likely considerably happening right now. And for those of you that have asked me if I've taken civics, I've taken a form of it, which was known as sociology, and I'm not the one you should be asking that question to. You should be asking the justices that question, like I stated before in writing. But now I'm stating it verbally. So it's stated both ways. And so you know that I have not changed my mind about that. I'm the wrong person you should be asking about civics. Because when I took sociology, I took it with... I went into it looking to learn the different ways in many different social norms, but I also took it in ways to figure out how to change the bad social norms. Like what the heck just happened right now, and what the heck is about to happen very soon. If Ketanji Brown Jackson can't get them to change their minds, we are indeed headed into a dictatorship. And this time the dictators are the justices, most likely the six out of 9 that basically ruined our lives in terms of a woman's right to choose. And they're looking to ruin our lives in more ways than one. Which is why I have stated in the past that just as the presidency should not be a lifetime position, there should be elections on Supreme Court justices as well. That should not be a lifetime position. You have to give everyone a chance, regardless of their qualifications. You've got to learn to give everyone a chance. That way you know which people, or, well, at least it's my way to tell which are the seeds of evil and which are the seeds of good. And believe me, I've detected a few, and yes, I've already said it, but I'm looking at you, Brett Kavanaugh. I know for darn sure that you are definitely one that needs to be replaced with someone who is more of a wild card, who's fair, honest, and understanding. You can't just make a few good choices. That does not erase your past history. I've had a few people that I've known learn that the hard way. You need to make sure that if you get in and you have a bad history, you don't let that history repeat itself. In other words, projecting your ideology on the Constitution honestly is a terrible ordeal. Like I said, though, if you're a wild card like me, you know where to project your ideology and you know where not to project your ideology. And I know this basically turned into a history lesson, but like I said, those who fail history are bound to repeat it. And honestly, there are a lot of people that I've known that have failed and still passed on to the next grade regardless of not getting the history credits, which is bad. But that also counts for the fact that even when you're not in school, history happens every single day. Just the smallest little changes. I mean, if you didn't know about that first fact on how, no offense, but if you didn't know about that first fact on how the presidency started, it's not my fault some of you pendejos failed history. To quote Gabriel Iglesias, it's not my fault some of you pendejos failed history. And if you don't believe me, seriously, look it up. I don't know which year they changed it to where they're, 2 terms of 8 years. I don't know which year it was that they actually changed it. But when they changed it, it was very good of them to do so. That way our democracy has ways to experiment. And as I said, that is why the Supreme Court justice deal should also change. Hell, I mean, some states are even holding elections for Supreme Court justices. So why not all states? And like I said, people like me who are a massive wild card, heck, I could fix what was broken. So just give me a chance and I can fix what was busted. With a stroke of a pen. They might think that they could change everything with just a stroke of a pen, but to quote New York Governor Kathy Hochul, we have pens too. So ponder all of that while watching this and see why I feel these changes need to be made. And this is rather appropriate for the way things have been and the way things are going. Now, like I said, with my upload speed the way it's been, this may go up today, or it may go up on the 5th, or it may go up on the 6th. Regardless, my opinions and factual information still stands. What was said, and it still stands at this moment, at any moment in time. So until next time, I've been Riku Keyblade Master. Comment, rate, subscribe to become a Keyblade wielder. And stay awesome as usual. And please, stay safe. I cannot stress that enough. And this is not just because of the pandemics going around and epidemics, everything that's going around. But I'm talking about recklessness as well. Please be careful. Not a joke. Holy crap, I cannot stress that enough. I would never forgive myself if I did not say this and something happened to you guys on this holiday. Or I should say holiday week. You guys get the idea. And especially if you're in my state, storms are very likely possible. So be careful. It's all scattered, so it's gonna happen at random. I mean, I heard there was an 11-year-old who went on a thing with his parents on a boat trip, and even he got struck. A teenager got struck when she was just walking home during... I mean, I understand her circumstances because she was walking home during a stormy weather. And like I was explaining to my parents, water can be a huge conductor of electricity, negative to ground, meaning negative to metal. You guys get the idea.